Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Our headlines today. Good morning. It's Friday, June the 11th. Our main story this morning, the UK will start delivering COVID vaccines to the world's poorest countries in the next few weeks after committing to donate 100 million surplus doses over the next year.
The Prime Minister made the promise ahead of the G7 summit, which begins in Cornwall today, and urged other countries to follow suit. Our diplomatic correspondent James Landale has more. The Prime Minister says that he and President Biden are working together on the case of Harry Dunn, who was killed after his motorbike collided with a car driven by a US citizen.
Local public health leaders are urging the government to delay the final lifting of coronavirus restrictions in England planned for later this month.
The Association of Directors of Public Health is warning that fully unlocking on the 21st of June risks an increase in hospital admissions and could reverse progress that has already been made. Matt Graveling has more.
A British woman who was attacked by a crocodile in a Mexican lagoon last weekend is now out of a medically induced coma.
28-year-old Melissa Laurie was saved by her twin sister Georgia, who fought off the reptile by repeatedly punching it in the face. Let's get more from our Mexico correspondent. Now, you may remember yesterday we were talking about the best way to watch the annular eclipse. We got to see a partial eclipse here in the UK. Take a look at this, though. As we said yesterday, lots of people with boxes on their heads.
Yeah.
Because that was the best way to see it. I wonder if Matt was doing that. I mean, and it was cloudy, as Charlie said. Quite cloudy today as well, Matt. Morning.
Thank you very much. See you later on.
Now, it is coming up to 6:15. Good morning to you. So lots of businesses anxiously awaiting the government's announcement on Monday, which will tell us whether the relaxation of restrictions will go ahead as planned in full on the 21st of June.
So Ben is at a pub in Chisholm.
Now, it may be 1 year later than planned, but a summer of football is finally here. Euro 2020 is getting underway later today.
With 3 home nations taking part, Breakfast Jamie Cubbin has been finding out how football fever has gripped fans across England, Scotland and Wales.
That lovely gentleman remembering his friend Terry. And it just shows that big sporting events, doesn't matter if you're not a football fan generally or ever, you know, Justin was speaking there. These big sporting occasions, they just bring people together.
It's very moving, that, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
in previous times, you might have had a piece like that, which, you know, albeit that it's fantastic and emotional because you support your team, it doesn't have that edge to it.
No.
That moment, that little... And thank you, Justin, for sharing that with us, because it caught him by surprise. You could just tell because the emotions are raw.
It's coming up to 6:30. Time to find out what's happening in terms of news, travel and weather, wherever you are, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Hello, welcome back. You're watching Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Let's see what's coming up in the programme.
Now, it's always been known as the special relationship, but after meeting President Biden ahead of the G7 summit yesterday, Boris Johnson says the bond between the US and the UK is now, and I quote, indestructible.
Both countries have committed to donating millions of doses of the COVID vaccine to the world's poorest countries in the coming year, and more pledges are expected at the G7.
Ahead of today's meeting between the world's most powerful leaders, the Prime Minister has been talking to our political editor, Laura Kuenssberg. Boris Johnson speaking to our political editor, Laura Kuenssberg there. And, of course, we're going to be talking to Charlotte Charles a little later on, who is the mother of Harry Dunn, on this programme. That will be around 8:30.
Time now is 6:38. Let's pick up on one of the other main stories today. Public health officials are warning that if the government continues with its plan to lift COVID restrictions in England later this month, hospital numbers could increase.
The Association of Directors of Public Health is calling for a delay to the roadmap and extension of current measures.
So let's get some thoughts.
Lots of people very, very excited about the Euros. Euro 2020, Mike.
Yeah, that's all.
Enjoy that,
the
Mike.
nations are going to get on.
See you later.
Yep.
6:48 the time. That means it's time for us to have a chat with Matt. How's the weather looking? Talk us through it, Matt.
Morning. I didn't know that.
No.
I didn't know. It
It's
could
gonna be
happen. If
very
it gets
close.
to 29, it could happen.
We'll be watching it very closely, and I'll be here all
Sure you
weekend
will.
to monitor it too.
Sure you will. Matt, thank you so much. See you later.
Right now, 6:51. So the novelty of online meetings maybe has worn off a bit for most of us by now, but maybe not if you work with Nick Giametta.
Now, from Wonder Woman to Where's Wally, He has been dressing up as different characters for his morning video calls since last May. He's been raising money for charity. Today,
he has put on his 100th and final, we're told, outfit. We'll be talking to him in just a moment. First, let's have a look at some of the costumes he's worn over the past year.
What's your work costume for tomorrow?
It's back to Jean.
Nick Munchetty there. Thank you.
There you go.
It's still a little bit scary though. It's time to find out what's happening. News, travel and weather where you are. See you at 7 with the headlines. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Our headlines today.